Hello, Accelerated Math 7-8 students. We are going to be doing video 11 today, and it's actually, if you're counting and keeping track, it's actually video 22, but it is lesson 11 from Module 9, and it's called Surface Area. So I'm going to turn there. Here is surface area. That was area from yesterday, and here's surface area. So, surface area, our goal. Today we are going to prove that surface area is the sum of all area parts. Okay, now that's going to be a little bit interesting because I'm not talking about multiple shapes, but I'm talking about a three-dimensional item, and then the parts are what make up the three-dimensional item. The question that I want you to think about is, what does surface area tell you? Okay. And then things to remember. We've actually talked about surface area before, and so this should be a little bit of a review, but let's go over it together. Things to remember. Surface area tells you how much space is needed to cover a two-dimensional or three-dimensional shape. Okay? So basically, we're talking about the thing that I like to remind kids about surface area. Surface area is like when you wrap a present. Okay, you take the present and you want to cover up any of the identifiable information so that it's a surprise for somebody. So surface area is like figuring out how much wrapping paper you need to cover something. So we're going to try it. Now, don't freak out, but these are really tricky. The first one is easy, and then the second one is overwhelmingly hard. But I want you to have the challenge so that you can get practice with this, because this is what it's requiring you to do. So what is the surface area of the following? There's two of them. First one that you're going to try, notice neither of them are drawn to scale. The first one you're going to try is a rectangular prism, okay? And it gives you all the dimensions that you need in order to figure it out, okay? And then we have this crazy shape right here that is kind of like a wedge that has had a middle of it cut out. So does everybody see the wedge? First, the wedge is this triangular three-dimensional shape right here. It's like one of those wedges that you shove under the door to keep it open. But the problem is that this wedge has had this middle section cut out. So there's only a little tiny bit on the back, and then this middle section has been cut out. And your job is to figure out what the surface area of this shape is. Okay? Now, I'm going to give you some tools to help you with this. And basically, what I like to do before I do any calculations is I like to lay out what I have. So let's go to this one first. So we're going to do the rectangular prism first. So basically, with the rectangular prism, what I would suggest that you do is you talk about what you have. So we have a top, and we know that it's in the shape of a rectangle, right? We have a bottom that it sits on that is just like the top, so it's also a rectangle. Then we have a front, which is also a rectangle. And then we have a back that is that exact same rectangle. And then we still have the left side and the right side. Left side is over here, right side is over here. So I would put left side, and then I would put right side. And both of these are still rectangles. They're just smaller. So this left side rectangle looks like that, and this right side rectangle looks like that. And believe it or not, they're exactly the same size, so I should draw them a little bit closer. Okay, so we know that these are what make up the actual prism itself. So on the top, the dimensions are a 3 by 8, right? The bottom is a 3 by 8 because these are exactly the same. The front is a, how high is that? A 2 by 8. And the back is exactly the same, so a 2 by 8. And the left side is a 2 by 3 and a 2 by 3. So now we know how to find the area of each of these, right? And then basically surface area is that you find the area of each part, hint, 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 go back to the goal, find the area of each part and then add them together. Okay, so basically you do all of that work and then you add those together, and that tells you the surface area for the rectangular prism. Okay, so rectangular prisms are pretty easy. You know there's going to be 6 parts. Now we have to go over to this ugly thing over here, and we have to figure out what we have, and this is where it gets a little bit tricky, so you might want to pay attention. So the first piece that I see is I do see a triangle right here. Does everybody see the triangle right here? So we don't know. We're going to call this the special shape because I have no idea what it's called. So we'll just call it special shape. Okay, and now we're going to talk about what we have. So on the front, we have a front, right? We have a back that's exactly the same. We have a top, and that's that slanted edge right there. So that's the top, right? Is the bottom the same as the slanted edge? No, but there is a bottom, right? And then we have a left side, but I don't see a right side at all. Do you see a right side at all? No, because that was the top. All right, so this right here is all the big one. Big one. Then if we're looking at the little one, we have all of those again. So we have the front that's sitting right here, right? We have the back. We have the top, which is this little section right here. We have the bottom, right? And we have a left side. Okay, so now the thing is that this guy is the little one, but it's missing the little guy. So it's not really there. So why do we have to figure out this? Well, the reason why we have to figure out this is because we've got to subtract it off because it's not there, it's missing. So if you look at it, this little guy was cut out, so it's gone, okay? So looking at the front, let's figure out the dimensions of the front. The front is actually a triangle. That's what it looks like on the big one. So what are the dimensions of it? We have a 12 by 12 by 16 and 97/100. That's what we have, okay? Then the back is exactly the same thing. So it's a triangle, 12 by 12 by 16 and 97/100. Okay, the top, that's this piece that we drew straight down. So it's actually a rectangle. Do you see it? And it's a 2, up here, 2 by 16 and 97/100. That's the rectangle, right? Then the bottom is this piece down here that would, if we had it going across. So the bottom is actually another rectangle, and it's a 2 by, how long is it? 12. Okay, are you guys with me okay? And then the left side is the piece that we can't see, but we know that it is a rectangle also. That is a 2 by 12. So now we have all of those pieces up there, so we just have to find the area. Remember, area of a triangle is half the base times the height. Well, okay, 1/2 of 12 times the height, which is 12. Okay, 1/2 of 12 times the height is 12. Okay, how do we find the area of the top? Multiply these two together, so you're going to take 2 times 16 and 97/100, right? And then the bottom, you're going to do 2 times 12. And then the left side, you're going to do 2 times 12. Okay, so now you found the area of all of those. So what you have to do is add them up. Okay, so now we have to do the little one. So the front of the little one is, again, a triangle, except this time it's a 6 by 6 by 8 and 49/100, right? The back is exactly the same, so another triangle, 6 by 6 by 8 and 49/100, right? The top of this little guy is a rectangle, and it is 1.5 by 8 and 49/100, right? And then the bottom is a rectangle, that is 1.5 by 6, and then the left side is another rectangle, that is 1.5 by 6. Okay, and then you're going to do the same thing that you did above. But remember, once you find the surface area of this little guy, basically you're going to have to cut it out so it's not there. So this is actually, you're going to need a piece of wrapping paper to cover right here, a piece of wrapping paper to cover right here, and a piece of wrapping paper to cover right here. Okay, so I'm wondering on the little one, we need the left side, the bottom, and the back. I don't think we need the front, so take that guy off. We need the left side, and we don't need the top because the top doesn't exist, so take that guy off too. So all we need is the left side, the bottom, and the back. That's what you need to cover those with wrapping paper. So find those out, add them together, and then that is the amount that you would need. We'll talk about it in class. But go ahead and try those, see what you come up with and figure it out, and then we'll check them tomorrow in class. Okay? Going back to our question of our lesson really quickly, what does the surface area tell you? Hopefully you've got the answer to that. And then one more thing on our goal. Today we are going to prove that surface area is the sum of all the area parts. Do you understand what area parts are now? So we're going to talk about that in class again tomorrow too. All right, my dears, that's it. I hope this is kind of a fun adventure and you will figure it out. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.